The Energy Matters to You podcast is a communication platform that features technologies and thought leaders working to advance energy efficiency. Energy Matters to You seeks to connect buyers with sellers so that practical, cost-effective energy efficiency and sustainable energy solutions continue to gain market traction. And now your hosts, Ron Galuli and Leo Ryan.
Hello and welcome to Energy Matters to You. I'm your host, Leo Ryan here, and as always, along with my co-host, Ron Galuli. Ron, good to see you in the house.
Yeah, great to see you. It's been some time since we had our last recording.
It has, but there's been some exciting news since our last recording.
Yes, we're excited to announce our collaboration with the Association of Energy Engineers New England chapter. So we'll be doing the podcast in conjunction with the AEE. We think we'll have a much greater distribution, and plus we'll be supporting the AEE New England community of member participants.
Yeah, that's great. No, it's a great collaboration. For years, AEE has been serving as a resource for education and networking and job posting for the community, and 1,000+ members on the email list. That's really exciting. We've had a bunch of guests on in the past 6 years who've been AEE members.
Absolutely. And this will solidify that relationship. And like I said, I think much greater distribution, and it will benefit everybody.
Great. So Ron, we always like to start with a little background and stuff. And we're talking a little bit about an AEE meeting. I understand that there was some interesting information shared at that meeting.
Yeah, so it was September, and actually our guests here were actually at the meeting, which is a good thing. But they did present the 3-year plan. So representatives from Eversource and National Grid did talk about the new 3-year plan that just started. And what is staggering is the amount of funding in that plan. So it goes from $2.7 billion to $4 billion over the next 3-year period. But also, the level of funding for traditional energy efficiency, if you will, steadily declines, and the funding for electrification over that 3-year period increases such that the funding for electrification is more than the traditional energy efficiency in the last year of the plan. But they have a lot of work to do, and it was apparent to me it's a work in progress. They did talk a lot about heat pumps, obviously, but as you know, there's some supply chain issues, workforce development issues, and now I just saw that proposed supply rates for the basic standard offer type service over the winter, you're looking at proposed rates of almost 40 cents a kilowatt hour. So promoting heat pumps, yet rates are going way up. It's not necessarily a good thing. Hopefully that's temporary.
Yeah. So, okay, clearly there's some incentive to get out and spend the money on efficiency and electrification. And I'm wondering, how do you think the Inflation Reduction Act, with the focus on investing in domestic energy production, manufacturing, and carbon emission reduction, how do you think that impacts the utilities plan and the community that we serve here?
Well, we're keeping an eye on the EV space, right? Because there's going to be a lot of funding in that space for EV infrastructure, supporting the development of EV. So I think it's going to be a good thing for folks involved in AEE and participating in those markets. There's just an upside to it.
Well, Ron, I think we've got some folks who can comment directly on this matter. We've got the co-owners and founders of KT&T Distributors. We've got Kevin Porter, the CEO, and Anthony DeColis, the COO of KT&T Distributors. Gentlemen, welcome to Energy Matters to You.
Oh, how are you today?
We're good. Better for the asking.
Good to be here.
Good to be here.
So you got to hear that little tease, that little conversation between Ron and I was watching you guys on our screen here, taking notes on that. So Interested to know is what put the pen to the paper. What did you hear that was relevant to your work?
So that big increase in the electrification and doing EV charging stations, that's an area we're growing into. We're a wholesale distributor of some EV chargers, and we do the installation. So it's going to be, right now, it looks like the Wild Wild West as everybody lines up for all the money. But we're going to be in it for the long haul, trying to get these electric charging stations installed across New England.
Beautiful.
So it's a big push.
Yeah, I like that. And that's a good point, because we could add to that. Something came out yesterday from the Small Business Administration that, 20% of that dollar spent on that Reduction Act is going to be sent to small business enterprises, and we fit right into that niche as a minority-owned and disadvantaged business enterprise. So there'll be some good set-aside goals that we'll be able to participate with primes, as whether we're tier 1 with the prime or tier 2 working with their subcontractors. So that was exciting to write that note down when you was kind of mentioning that. We're looking forward to working with some of the folks out there and using our expertise as a distributor and an electrical contractor in the marketplace.
Yeah, beautiful. Anthony, you covered a lot of it there. So can I just ask you to just give us the elevator speech on KT&T? What are you? What do you do? How do you serve? You did a lot of it there, but here's your spot.
Yeah, here it is. KT&T is pretty simple. It's 3 friends who grew up in Rhode Island, Kevin, Timmy, and Tony. That's what it stands for. And we've known each other since, kindergarten, way back from family farms. I grew up on a farm, as Kevin grew up on a farm in Smithfield. And we've taken the same practices that we had on the farm of sustainability and giving back and all that, and brought it into a business as we all graduated college and came about. And here we are. We're still participating in the marketplace and offering our added value of intellect and business acumen out there. So we're excited to be a part of this podcast and share our news. So that's a little bit about us and where we're headed in New England, New York, and participating in that, like I just said, the set aside goals and looking at core competencies of, doing everything in the energy efficiency space. Okay, good. So you mentioned some regions, primarily focused in the New England, New York area. Is that true?
Definitely. We've been working in this space over here, starting in Rhode Island and Mass, along with the Mass Saves program, sometimes with the lighting efficiency stuff. Moving forward now, as Ron was mentioning, electrification, getting into heat pumps and all that kind of thing. We do turnkey projects as well, where we'll go in from the audit all the way to the recycling of whatever the materials are. So yes, in the New England area, we worked in Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, a lot in Mass, Rhode Island. We're on a New York State contract with, Tony can kind of speak a little more to that, but doing some energy efficiency stuff out there as well.
So Kevin, if I asked you, Kevin, I just ask you, is there a particular part of the marketplace that you work well in, either government, commercial, educational, healthcare? Is there a part that's a specific niche for KT&T?
Right now, we're seeing a lot of work that we're doing with some of the municipalities. We're doing a lot of work with schools. We're in Lowell schools, Situate schools. We're doing some work for DCAM. We actually finished a project last year with DCAM. Their headquarters there at One Ashburton Place, where we did all the lighting in that building. And we're proposed to do some more work with DCAM. So right now, we're doing a lot of work with municipalities. We're really in that. So that's where we're seeing a lot of this electrification too. So for these charging stations, we're proposing quite a few in these different places as well.
Yeah, I'd probably expand upon what Kevin said. Our footprint is, from an operational standpoint, being the COO is definitely New England and New York, but from a distribution standpoint, it's pretty much the entire country, as we have other customers who are always asking for that set aside goal as an MBE. Whether, I was just on a phone call with Target stores the other day and Walt Disney the day before, where it was ironic, Walt Disney, as we talked about, where it all started with them in distributing our first product, which was the Dell's Lemonade, and coming back full circle, where we had the head of procurement asking us to do a full energy audit at Orlando and take one of the buildings. And I see that you guys you're doing it, your footprints in New England. Are you willing to come to Orlando and then California and then some of the other office buildings? So we're seeing this push of timely here, this energy efficient push, where it's kind of creeping up into the corporate procurement people of going, hey, wait a minute, there are other folks other than the large nationals doing this energy efficiency stuff, where KT&T now can compete. We are a upstream distributor. We have an electrical house. We have relationships with large manufacturers for distribution. So Kevin's correct. Our footprint is pretty stronghold in New England and New York, but it has expanded out. We did 6 hospitals in Utah, changing all their lights and EV charging stations and chiller units. And we were the project management team on that. So as an MBE participating in the marketplace, the growth is, has to be, controlled. It can't be just everywhere. So we're excited about and that's what my other note was, Ron, is when you say from 2 billion to 4 billion, we want to be on that train.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Anthony, stay with that. I'd like us all to understand the MBE process and why it's unique and how you fit in. Because you mentioned a couple of tiers that in language that I wasn't familiar with. Can you just walk us through MBE, what it means, and the opportunity for KT&T and for prospective partners?
Sure. My MBE stands for Minority Business Enterprise. It's controlled by 51% of underprivileged in the community, whether it's African American, Asian American, Latino American, and we qualify as the MBE in the space. So there's usually set aside goals that are attached to, as you say, federal funding or state, as Kevin says, municipalities are there, where there's three buckets. There's an MBE bucket, a veteran-owned bucket, and a woman-owned bucket. And as I said earlier, the infrastructure bill is a 20% goal for each one of those buckets that are coming out in the government space of that billion-dollar infrastructure that you're seeing here. And so we meet the MBE piece of the three buckets, and it qualifies if you do business with us and it's a non-federal piece and it's a commercial, then you receive 100% incentive with us if we work as a tier one vendor, which would mean your prime vendor. You were purchasing supplies from us, you were having us install, or as Kevin has said earlier, the whole turnkey project of it, where we go from cradle to grave on an energy efficiency project. If you hire KT&T, you receive 100% MBE credit towards the goal of whatever that grant, federal fund, state fund is. And then along with that piece of an MBE tier one, as we provide product and install and commissioning and project management, is a tier two side, which we would work with. Perfect example, AE engineers, architects, and everybody who belongs and says, you know what, I have a contract with the client. How do you fit in? We do have this set aside goal. We constantly see it. We don't know what to do or who to reach out to. And so we want to be there as your source. And so that would be a tier two, where that prime, that architect, that engineer, and as Kevin said, that other prime is in need of a MBE, WB, or veteran-owned enterprise. That would be a tier two, where we'd be working with them towards their federal and state contracts. And so Kevin clearly articulated that, we're on multiple contracts with some large companies. We're with Johnson Controls, we're with Siemens on the New York State Building Automation and Intelligent Facility contract. We're with FW Webb on their New York State contract. We're with Republic Services on the Mass State contract. So we're at Massport on a contract. So there's a lot of scope for an MBE. And what, as Kevin has mentioned, is that we are kind of like all stars in the energy efficiency game. And so we're happy to be here to tell that message of where Kevin has over 20 years of experience in the energy efficiency and hired some great folks coming out of Wentworth and some other places that are in the energy field. So we're at a position to grow exponentially. So, and that MBE piece is just an added value on top of what we do.
That's great. Thanks.
So Kevin, as far as being a utility partner, they have the Project Expediter program. It seems like there's a good opportunity to participate in that. Are you guys going to apply as a utility partner as far as that goes? Because it also seems like there might be some MBE opportunities. Or are you just happy to work with you do support actually probably some of the PEXs as they are.
So we have looked at that, Ron, and we're going to look at it again. But the times that we did look at it, we were already working with some of the primes or some project experts doing the work. So we were already doing the audit, doing that stuff, doing the installation or whatever. So at that time, that's what we needed to do. So going forward, looking forward, next year, we might indeed look at Project Expediter again from a different lens. If National Grid or Eversource or whatever needs these project allies and they need to fill up that MBE space, it might make sense for us to do it. But we might cut ourselves off from some of the guys that we're already working with.
Perhaps they'll have a PEX type concept just for EV installations, and that might be the best of both worlds, where you stick with the way you're delivering energy efficiency, the way you're doing it, and maybe do the turnkey EV.
Exactly. I like to say we're the black unicorn out there. We're magical, right? So we were able to work with everybody. You know what I'm saying? So if that PEX comes along so we can do it with that EV charge station that way, I'm going to keep my black unicorn moniker.
Kevin, I want to know, is that on your business card, the black unicorn?
Not yet, buddy. Not yet. I got to get the Lord High Executioner first, and then I'm doing that.
Lord High Executioner Black Unicorn. Oh, this is one creative business card there. Anything else that our guests should know about you? Anything you want to share?
No, I know we covered a lot in this little time here, but we, just like we were just saying there, we do work for a lot of large firms. Where it comes in with that AE, those guys, those engineers, they set up projects. We work with architects. Sometimes it's speccing in different, it could be lighting, it could be transformers. And then we work with them to deliver to the project or install. So just want to know, we're kind of soup to nuts.
And to add to that, as Kevin reminds me, and he just did there last week, he said, Anthony, you need to remember that we made it through COVID and we're very successful in handling DCAM's Ashburton Place of 14,000 lights for a year, and having a director of the SBA administrator come to our office and congratulate us as a success story through COVID. So that's what I would probably add, is that
Love it.
we made it and we're still here. We're going to flourish and we can't wait to all be a part of it.
That's great.
To get 4 billion. Yep.
Get your chunk of the 4 billion.
Yeah.
No, you're not greedy. You're not greedy, Black Unicorn, are you?
We don't need it all.
All right, Ron, anything else?
No, it's been great to have both you guys on the show. And I think we might want to consider a separate podcast just to hear about the Dell's Lemonade / Disney story and throw a few Elliott Lounge. Yeah, we got to throw a few Elliott Lounge stories in there as well.
Yeah,
You got it.
Yeah, we can tell you about the Mighty Ducks and the Angels and Disney. Oh yeah, we love all
All
that.
right, we're off the rails. We can't go off the
Yeah.
rails. It's a
Yeah.
professional
That's other
podcast.
stuff.
Hey, somebody wants to reach you. How do they reach you?
Tony, give them the headquarters number up there for.
So you can read us at kttdistributors.com. We're on the website. We got a fantastic website. I mean, come on there, you can see and learn a little bit more about everything we are and who we are and what we do. And then you can just find us on the, the old phone there. We still have the landline here.
It's beautiful.
Dial it up.
Love it.
Dial it up, 603-809-6638.
Tony, Anthony, it sounded like you wanted to sing that. You got a jingle ready.
Get the
There's
jingle.
another teaser.
Right.
All right, listen, let's wind this one down. We're a pleasure meeting you guys. KT&T Distributors out of Rhode Island. Really excited to have you as part of Energy Matters to You. I wish you the best of luck. You know where to find us. So if we can help, I hope you reach out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
So for Energy Matters to You, this has been Leo Ryan and my co-host Ron Galuli saying thanks for being here. There's work to be done. Go make a difference.
Support for Energy Matters to You comes from Rise Engineering, Raytheon, Mechanical Insulation Solutions Network, AHA Consulting Engineers, GDS Associates, FMC Technologies Incorporated, Acela Energy Group, Leidos, Energy Management Associates Incorporated, New Ecology Incorporated, Sane Engineering Associates Incorporated, and B2Q Associates. For more from Energy Matters to You, visit aeenewengland.org/podcasts. For more information from the Association of Energy Engineers, New England chapter, visit aeenewengland.org.